businesses to tell me this one sentence and I know that their social media strategy is not working for them. Welcome back to my channel, guys. For those of you who are new, I'm the Marketing Nomad, and I usually talk about content marketing, social media, marketing, and brand management. I usually upload YouTube videos every Tuesdays and Fridays. However, I do upload marketing tips on my Instagram page every single weekday. By the end of this video, you're going to know 10 awesome and different tips to make sure your social media strategy is totally on point. Now, before we get on to the video, I do have a customary shout out to do. Thank you so much for tagging me. I absolutely loved your tag. Now, if you're sitting there and wondering how to get featured in my video, all you have to do is leave an awesome comment below, or you can tag me in one of your Instagram stories and I will be sure to feature your business profile in my next video. Now, as I always say, let's get down to business. Okay, so the first tip that I do have for you is sort of a myth buster. There is no such thing as the best social media platform. It is not something that's universal. If that thought's in your head, I suggest you take it out and throw it out of the window, guys. Now, if you seem to just go and pick out what's working for another business, it actually might not work for you. Each social media platform works depending on a number of factors. So what's working for another business might not work for you, and you need to be specific about what you are looking for. You need to make sure that you are doing your research to pick the right social media platform. Now, talking about research leads me to my second tip. Find out where your audience is hanging out. There's no point in posting on Twitter if most of your audience is going to be on Facebook. So do your homework, and one of the best ways to find out where your audience is hanging out is to actually ask them. Ask them in surveys and in newsletters that you send out. Ask them which is the social media platform that they hang out the most, or which is the social media platform that they like using the most. So make sure that you are taking advantage of all these different avenues to talk to your audience specifically. Now, that leads me to my third tip. There are a lot of social media sites available for you to use and for you to connect with your audience. One of the sentences that I hear from businesses that tells me right off the bat that their social media strategy is not working is this: I've been posting every single place. I don't understand why my social media strategy is not working, why my engagement rates are so low. If you're going to be posting on 5 different apps, it's going to get stressful real quick. Even with the amount of social media management apps that are available, spreading yourself too thin can actually be harmful to you. What I would ideally suggest is to choose 2 or 3 platforms that actually work for you. Focus heavily on those, put in all your efforts into those, and that actually leads me to my next tip. My next tip is to create individual content for these different platforms. What works on Facebook does not work on Twitter. What works on Twitter will not work on Instagram. Each of these platforms have specific target audiences and their specific preferences as well. So you need to make sure that you are catering content to each of these social media platforms. If you're focusing on 5 different platforms and you're posting the same content, you're gonna piss off a lot of consumers on the other platforms because that is not what they're looking for from your brand, from your business. Second, you are not going to be putting out the right kind of content, thus you're not going to be receiving the engagement levels that you are looking for, which in turn kind of tanks your entire social media strategy, even though you're putting in all the effort. Now, my 5th tip is to have a template ready. Now, there are going to be negative reviews, there are going to be negative feedbacks. Make sure that you have a running Google Doc of how you're going to respond to these comments, these feedbacks, and these reviews. It also helps to have another running list of how you're going to respond if someone compliments you online or if someone asks you questions. Now, I know that it sounds really small to have a template for maybe negative reviews or positive reviews or FAQs, but believe me, I've actually handed out this template to my clients and I've received extremely positive feedback because this actually cuts down a lot of time. You're not sitting there and thinking what to reply or you're not searching back for previous comments and previous reviews for you to copy and paste. Everything's right there in that Google document, and since it's a Google Doc, you can actually have many people access it, which is really great for small businesses, especially when you have 2 people managing a social media account. So this is something that actually works really well, and I highly recommend having a template. Now, talking about negative feedback actually leads me to my next point. Do not ignore it. Now, when you are receiving negative feedback, ideally you would want to respond to that negative comment or feedback within the hour. And this is actually part of your post-purchase strategy. Now, what you ideally want to do is, even though you are investigating the matter or it is taking time to talk to the respective teams involved in the issue, you would ideally want to write back and tell them that you are investigating the matter. That gives them actually enough time to calm down, because they know that you are working on what they're saying and that their opinion matters and you are actively working, you are caring about them. Another reason why this is so effective is when other potential consumers are looking on your social media pages and they see these negative reviews, for example, they look at the comments below that and they know that you are actively working and you are caring about your consumers. People do screw up, that's okay, but at least you are working towards fixing it and you are making sure that your customers have a happy experience. Now, another tip that is important is consistency. Now, the algorithm that is used on these individual social media platforms actually rewards consistency. Make sure that you are choosing a few days a week, maybe say Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and make sure that you are sticking to a schedule, because it doesn't matter how many times you're posting, as I said in this video, but what matters is that you are posting consistently. Now, to be consistent, you usually do have a social media calendar to make sure that you are posting regularly. Talking about social media calendars, make sure to leave some space for breaking news and other announcements that your company or your business might want to put out. Maybe once a week, try to put out relevant information that is related to your industry, something that your audience would actually be happy to read about or to even see a video about. Now, a simple and non-expensive way to actually get more traffic to your social media pages is to put your social media links in your email signature. Now, if you are on the marketing team of your business, I highly recommend you actually do an email template for your employees. Now, what happens here is that when your employees or you are talking to potential consumers or your existing consumers, you are providing them an opportunity to check out your social media pages, which, as I've noticed, is something that people tend to do a lot. So make sure that you are not missing the opportunity of driving that traffic to your social media pages. My last tip is to test everything out. You guys have to understand that there is no such thing as this strategy will absolutely work. Many of the strategies that have worked for businesses were actually part of experiments. Because here's the thing, sometimes your audience isn't aware that they want to see something until you show them what it is. And you can't really do that unless you put your best creativity foot forward, if I can say that. So make sure that you are testing out different kinds of content, don't restrict yourself, and observe your consumers' reaction, and try to make sure that you are constantly improving your overall social media strategy. Alright guys, and that's a wrap. If you guys had as much fun watching this video as I did making it, feel free to like my video and subscribe to my channel, because this is where all the fun marketing stuff happens. While you guys wait for my next video, be sure to check out these 2 videos that I do have for you. Alright guys, until my next video.